need a something to lie on, like a bolster if you have one. If you don't have one, grab a couple of cushions. And you'll need something heavy like a blanket. Can you see my rolled up blanket over there? That's my cotton blanket. It's quite heavy. I have the luxury, I know that you are unlikely to have this, but part of my yin equipment, if you like, repertoire of things is a sandbag. So I use sandbags quite a lot in my own practice. These ones you can see has got a little on it. So this is my heavy thing. So sometimes I'll show you. Let's say I'm doing a child's pose, and I'll put if my back needs it, I'll put the heavy thing here, for instance, on my back, or various places. So you need something heavy. It doesn't have to be as heavy as a sandbag, but just something with a little bit of weight to it. Whether it's a rolled up blanket, whether it's a book. Books are quite good to use. Just nothing that will break, or nothing that will hurt you if it falls down on you. All will be revealed in a minute. Okay, so once you've got yourself sorted with your bolster and maybe your blanket, just have them over to one side for a moment. And then I'd like you to come and stand up. Ooh la la, who thought that we might be doing some standing? But we don't often stand in our yin. And as you know, there's only one yin pose that is the standing one. And that one we will do in a minute. But I thought we'd start with something a little bit different tonight, because I was sitting here thinking about, what we're going to do. I was getting a bit cold. And what is the story of my life? So I was like, that's how we're going to start tonight's practice. So feet a little bit wider than hips, knees a little bit bent. So you're kind of just getting down a little bit. And then you're going to just start to swing like this. Okay. Now this is great if you've eaten recently, believe it or not. Not that I want you to swell up your digestive system and cause it to go in the wrong direction, none of that. But it is good for just keeping things moving, because as you probably know, one of the best things you can do after you've eaten a meal is go for a walk. Because that just helps your digestion, because you're moving. You're not sitting squashed and squishing all of your digestive organs. You're moving them gently and giving them space. And that's kind of what we're doing here. But also, because your knees are bent, because you're getting a little bit lower, it's going to warm up your legs. It's going to make you use the muscles in your legs. And so this is great because that generates heat in your body. You're also mildly stimulating the region of your lower back and your kidneys. And we are very much still in winter, so we're very much in the kidney time of the Chinese calendar, the 5-element calendar. And so with your hands making soft fists, as you do this, can you lightly tap your fists, if you like, into where your kidneys rest in the lower back? Well, they're kind of around the sort of lower ribs, aren't they? Low ribs. They're not really where your hips are at all, but you know what I mean, in that sort of fold, curved space of your lower back. Okay? And so this is good because this is our water element. We want to warm the water, stir it up and get it moving, because it can be quite slow, it can be quite still, and it can be quite cold. So we need to keep the fire going, and that's the fire that's in your legs, this muscular fire that's creating a little bit of heat underneath the kidneys, causing the water to warm up and to generate steam. And that steam rises and it hydrates and it moisturizes all of the organs of your body. It rises all the way up to the lungs. Think of the lungs like the top of the canopy of the jungle, catching all the water droplets. And then the lungs disperse the fluids, so they send the fluids out in all the right places, moisturising where is needed. So if you have dry skin, it might be because your water is not being steamed in your body and sent up to your lungs for dispersal. It's quite common in the winter, isn't it, to get dry skin. So you need to move your water and make sure there's plenty of it in your body. Good. We are going to slow it down. And I like doing that for a little while. I like doing it for a longer time. In the mornings on a Thursday we do it, but we do it so briefly. So just come to stand on your mat now. Feet wherever feels comfortable. Maybe turn the palms forwards a little bit. Roll the shoulders back and down. If you like, close your eyes. Have a tiny bend into the knees. Open the palms, but keep the fingers curled softly. So palms are open, but fingers are curled. Shoulders relaxed, jaw soft. Just checking in with yourself, with how that movement has resonated through your body. And in Qigong, this pose is called Wuji. This little bent knee, slightly bent knee, shoulders relaxed, chest open, but there's a softness here. We're not trying too hard. We are letting the body weight sink into the earth. But we're just standing with ease. All right. Now softly open your eyes. If it feels comfortable to fold down with something underneath you, then either bring a chair in front of you to put your arms onto, or to have your bolster there is fine too. You're going to keep your feet fairly wide, maybe wider than your hips. You're going to keep your knees fairly bent. You're going to hinge at the hips and just kind of let your tummy come to rest on the top of your thighs. And then allow your hands to come down onto the bolster, let your head hang. And just hang out here. You don't have to rest onto any support if you want. Another alternative is simply to hold the opposite elbow and just to hang into the space. Now, if you feel that this is not appropriate for you, if you don't want to do this, if it gives you any kind of eye ache, if it gives you any kind of headache, then please come into child's pose and just use your bolster as a support that way instead. For dangling pose, we don't stay here for very long. So in the short time that we are here, do let your head and your shoulders be very heavy. Use this opportunity to decompress your spine. take 1 or 2 last breaths here. And then simply keep your head down, but release your hands to the floor or to your support. And then slowly walk your knees back, feet backwards, so that you can bring your knees down very gently. And then simply lower yourself into child's pose or something similar, so that you can just take a little bit of a rest for a moment. Okay, so taking another breath in, another breath out. Take your time to raise your head and come out of child's pose. Alright, so we are going to sort of flip things upside down now. So you need your bolster or your cushions, and you need your heavy thing, and we're coming into bamboo garden. So we're going to come down to sit, and the safest way to come into the pose is to lie down first, and then to lift the hips and to scoot underneath your hips, your support. So this is the important bit. You've got to make sure that your hips feel very supported. If it feels too high, swap it for something a little bit less, and you can always use nothing at all. That's always an option too. And another option here is to use the wall. So you could, when we take the feet up into the air like this, you could have your legs against the wall. So that's obviously available if you've got that nearby. Then once you're here, you're taking your heavy thing and you're putting it onto your feet. So this can be a little bit precarious. Be careful. This is why you've got to choose something that won't hurt you if it falls. And this is why I like my sandbag, because it can kind of mould a little bit around my feet. So yeah, if you've got a book, maybe be barefoot, for instance, so that your feet can kind of act with a bit more grip than maybe having just socks on. I'm going to check my screen in a minute, because I think I can see most of you in it all right, but I need to get up and have a proper look. But for now, for those of you that are here and are happy, the heavy thing on the feet is optional. So if you want to lose it and just do bamboo garden without it, it's fine. Arms can open out wide to the sides if you want, or they can come alongside your ears into some sort of a V shape. And just feel free to have a bit of a play here. The heavy thing on your feet is there because this kind of downward pressure down the legs is quite nice. It has this I have this real sense that my hips and the back of the pelvis are sort of really being pinned into the bolster, and that has this quite restful feel for me. But if you find it too precarious, if it just doesn't feel safe for you, then lose the heavy thing. for the last minute of being here, if you want to play with leg position, you could bring them over the head a little bit more. Use the advantage of your heavy thing to give your hamstrings a little bit of a stretch here. If you're not using the heavy thing and you want to open the knees out wide, please do. Okay, last couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, just slowly, carefully bending the knees, reaching for your heavy thing as soon as you can, and making sure that you put it down carefully. Then, from here, you can gently bring your feet down to the floor. And we'll just stay here in the supported bridge position, just for a little bit. If you feel that this is not comfortable and you'd rather put your hips down onto the ground, please know that that's okay. All right. So the next pose can be practiced with the bolster still underneath the hips. But if you don't feel happy with that and you want to lose it, then you can do. I'll show you what we're going to do next. We're going to do a half happy baby. So my right knee is coming in towards me and I'm just going to reach for my foot and gently pull the knee downwards towards the side of the rib cage. Now notice that my other leg is just kind of hanging out here. I really want that to happen because I want this stretch on the front of the thigh. But I appreciate that that might not be comfortable. You might not enjoy not having your foot on the floor, for instance. You might prefer to have your foot down. You might prefer to have your leg straight, in which case you push this out of the way and just maybe either have it underneath the back of the knee or have nothing at all and just have your body flat and your leg down the mat. However, this is our next pose. It's essentially half a happy baby with a bit of a little bit of a quad stretch and a hip flexor stretch on the other leg. All right, you're going to stay here for maybe another 2.5 minutes because we've been here for a little while already. Let me put my timer on. Yeah, looking good, everyone. So try not to have your knee over your chest because that's just going to squash your belly. Try and have your knee out to the side, so it's, instead of it being here in the middle, it's out wide. It looks a bit like this. This is my seated version of you doing what you're doing lying down. So it shouldn't be, and your thighs shouldn't really be disturbing your digestive organs too much. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Because then you can hold on to your leg with one hand, hopefully, or your foot with one hand. Yeah, good. And it doesn't mean you have to hold on to your foot. If you want to hold the thigh, if you want to hold the knee and just hug a knee to the armpit sort of direction, that's okay too. So last couple of breaths, slow, steady breaths. And when you're ready, let go of this side and swap to the other side, please, and then we'll take a longer rest after. Yep, so hold wherever you feel comfortable, however you feel comfortable. You could even use a strap if you wanted to around your foot, if that makes it a bit easier to reach it. And I'm going to come join you. This is a great pose for your kidney channel, which runs up the inside of the thigh, deep in the inner groin. And then it also runs up the centre of the body. Sorry, runs up the torso, I should say. So it has this lovely, very positive, uplifting feeling, like that water evaporating, water naturally rising upwards. All of the yin channels of the lower leg. So you've got the liver and you have got the spleen. And so all three of those, they're all yin channels. And so they're very responsible for the earth element in your body. I know I'm flitting around between elements, but your earth element is all about being nourished. So you can't have nourishment without water, so that's your kidneys. You can't have nourishment without wood, because wood is your growth. Wood is blood, wood is smooth flow of chi. And you can't have nourishment without the spleen, because the spleen is energy itself. It's the chi of your body, it's the plumpness of your muscles. So someone that has got very good spleen chi, they've got good kind of muscle definition to them. Whereas, say, let's say you've gone, like you see bodybuild, like I see this quite a lot when I talk to people at the cycling park, and they're like, I'm trying really hard in the gym and I'm working really hard trying to lift weights and make my muscles bigger, but it's not happening. And the reason that it's not happening is because their spleen chi is weak, and the spleen is nourished by the food that you eat. So all of this is all very earthy, isn't it? All very earthy. And those channels all run up the inner leg here, and they're all very, very closely connected. And they cause this lovely lifted sensation through your body, this sensation of feeling like you can hold yourself upright without collapsing. Last breath. Sorry, lots and lots of talking at you tonight. Alright, and when you are ready, let's let go of that foot. Carefully let it find the floor. Oh, that feels nice. And then you could just slide your bolster to the back of your knees if you want to, and just take a lovely, gentle, sinking rest into the mat. What I love is that heaviness. The heaviness of the limbs once they can do nothing. Okay, so last breath as you are. it up into a seated position, please, because our next pose is caterpillar. And so for caterpillar, it's a forward fold, so it's a legs extended. They don't have to be together, they can be a little bit wider apart. You could have a blanket or a cushion to sit on. You could put the bolster underneath the backs of the knees and fold over bent knees that way. Or you could put the bolster on your lap and fold over that way. Depends what you're going for, because this pose offers a stretch for the whole back body if you choose to take it. Or it can offer a stretch for just the legs or for just the upper body, or sorry, for the back rather. So for instance, when I'm here, I've got quite a nice stretch for my spine, but very little stretch in my hamstrings. When I've got nothing, I've got much more of a complete stretch for back, body and legs. So yeah, have a little bit of a play with where you want to take this, and where do you want to feel this, because if you get any pins and needles in your legs when you forward fold, because I know that's a possibility, if you've got a little bit of compression happening in your lower back, maybe there's a little bit of the discs thinning and the bones kind of moving quite close together. It's not unusual to get pins and needles in the legs. We don't support that, we don't want that to happen, so we need to back off out of it, and that's why we use the props. The props kind of give us something to kind of rest in and to find some kind of length or intention here, but without putting the body under too much strain. So we talked about the lungs being the canopy for the water, and the kidneys as being the storage place where the water sits. They also have another relationship, and that's to do with the breath. Because the breath is the lungs' ability to disperse the fluids through the body. But the breath has to happen first of all. And as you probably remember me saying before, it is actually the kidneys that control the inhalation, and it is the lungs which control the exhalation, according to Chinese medicine. So you want strong kidneys to breathe enough air, enough sustenance from the air into your body. So that's what I want you to think about doing right now, is think about where your kidneys are. You gave them a little tap right at the beginning. Just send your breath gently downwards. Imagine your kidneys are the magnet for your inhalation. And they're encouraging your breath down into your body. take your last breath in this shape. And then slowly emerge and gently lay yourself down just for a little stillness in a neutral position. So carefully ease your body. Don't over fuss, just get still as quickly as you can, and then just notice the different spreading sensations. Okay. So our next shape is going to be from the lying position. We're going to come into a twist variation. Let me move this out of the way. You could keep your bolster and have it to hand maybe as a support for your knees if you like. You're going to start with both knees being bent. Then you're gently going to take your right knee in towards your chest and just give it a little squeeze in. Okay, now holding your right knee with your left hand, can you roll? Notice that I've got this kind of staggered shape. Maybe even put your foot on your knee if that helps. But I want you to roll this shape over to the left. So your left hand is still weighing your knee down. And if you want to, your right hand can reach for and hold on to your left foot. So this is just a little option here. It's a bit like cat pulling its tail, a very kind of gentle, like a modified version of it. If it feels too strong to be holding on to this foot that's behind you, just instead just let your arm come to rest down on the ground and your leg to go wherever it wants. You're still in your twist, you're still giving your hips a little bit of lubrication, you're still rotating your spine, which always feels good. And we're just going to stay here and enjoy some breaths together. Okay, so this is a great way to rebalance the body always. These kind of twists help to kind of calm the yin and the yang energies again. Right, so last few breaths, please. And then slowly return your knees back. Just pause in the centre for 1 or 2 breaths. Okay, and then let's do the other side. So both knees are bent. Left knee comes to chest, or maybe left foot rests onto top of right knee just so that you keep this kind of shape. Roll the knees over to the right and just let them find their own natural stopping place. You might want to support underneath the knee if you want to. And remember, there's the option to hold on to your back foot. This kind of gives you a shouldery stretch as well as an arch through your back as well. So there's loads going on if you do hold on to the foot, but it just sometimes it feels just a little bit too activating. And sometimes towards the end of the practice especially, we just want to chill out, kind of enjoy as much of this still time as possible. So taking this last breath here, returning back to the centre whenever you're ready, and pausing, resting, becoming still again. Okay, so we have got time to do one last pose. And for that last pose, you can take yogi's choice. So if there's one that you feel, actually, I'd quite like to do this one now, then please take it. I will give you some suggestions. I'm going to give you two suggestions. So first suggestion would be dragonfly, to sit wide-legged and to maybe fold forwards into that space if you feel inclined. That could be option number one. Or option number two, going back with your support again, maybe to come into reclining butterfly. So remember, the support goes right into the back of your body, so it's touching, and you're lying yourself down. You might also need an extra support for your head. The legs can go out, the knees can bend, the knees can come out wide. So you've still got that inner thigh stretch happening, but if you want to change this leg position to something else, that's okay too. So yeah, have a little think about which, or if there's a different pose that you would like and that you feel that you would get more benefit from, then please take that. This is another one of my sandbag poses. If I get the other one. So it's quite nice to put the sandbags on the knees here, or on the inner thighs, I should say. You don't have to make these out of anything particular either. They get made with sand traditionally, but you can make it with bags of rice. So I've done that in the past, and that's just as effective. Just anything really, anything heavy, if you feel that that will bring benefit to your practice. Okay, so you're going to take your last breath or two here. slowly can you emerge by gently bringing your knees back towards one another. And maybe rolling to the side if coming up to sit feels too strong. You can push out of the way your supports and come take a lie down just for a moment or two, just briefly. Okay, so a very gentle kidney focused practice tonight. To end, I'd like you to work with this visualization. As you take your inhalations, can you imagine that you are drawing into your body a dark blue energy that's travelling downwards towards your kidneys? This dark blue is the colour of the kidneys. So as you inhale, you're drawing this dark blue energy downwards towards your lower back. And then as you exhale, I want you to gently contract the muscles of your lower belly. And as you repeat this over the next few breaths, every time you take an exhalation, take a slight inward abdominal contraction. So it's not just the front, it's the sides, it's a little bit of the back as well. Like you're just tightening a corset, but very slight. It's not a huge contraction, it's not a huge squeeze. You relax this as you breathe in, and you keep on breathing in the dark blue. And it's like you're trying to hold this dark blue energy into your kidney region, even though you're taking your exhalation. So you're not breathing it out, you're not letting it go, you're just building up a bank of it, a store of it. This practice massages and stores the chi from the lungs, which obviously governs the breath. And it also restores the kidneys with the visualization. So you're using your kidney strength to draw your inhalation in. The colour blue is very energizing for the kidneys. And you're holding that kidney chi and that lung chi into the lower belly, kind of creating a little storehouse of it. And then let the visualization go. And for this last little bit of time here, consciously soften every muscle. Sink into the yin energy of the earth. Okay, take another breath in, another breath out, and prepare your body gently for coming back. Have a little stretch of fingers and toes. Roll your head from side to side. Stretch out any way that feels good. And then you can gather your knees in. Have a little rock across your back body. And then come round and up into a seat of your choice. Welcome back. Good job, everybody. Let's finish tonight's practice together. So fingertips out to the sides of you. Inhale, reaching your hands gently, slowly, lightly up, palms meet above your head, and then letting the hands fall down the centre line, bringing your hands to heart centre as you bring your practice to a close with this gesture of gratitude for all the gifts that the practice gives us. Namaste to you.